Stop staring at the hero bikes up front. The real treasure is hidden in the dark back corner, the land of misfit toys. These machines sit for years ignored and gathering dust. But here is the shocking secret. They are actually incredible bikes. Dealers are desperate to move them and will slash prices just to see them leave. We found 20 forgotten gems that you can steal for pennies on the dollar. Stop overpaying. Let's go shopping. Number 20. Honda NC750XDCT. We begin our countdown with a machine that is the automotive equivalent of a trusty Toyota Prius. Enthusiasts widely regard the Honda NC750X as the absolutely most boring motorcycle ever produced. It has a low-revving 745 cubic centimeter parallel twin engine that hits the red line at a paltry 6,500 RPM, essentially half the red line of a sport bike. It features Honda's dual clutch transmission, meaning it shifts for itself. It looks like a mild-mannered commuter. Because of this, real riders walk right past it. They want adrenaline. This bike offers unbeatable efficiency. It gathers dust on showroom floors because it fails to excite the soul of the average weekend warrior. However, if you can look past the lack of thrill, this is arguably the smartest buy on the entire market. The gas tank isn't a gas tank at all. It is a waterproof storage trunk capable of holding a full-face helmet. The actual fuel is stored under the seat, keeping the center of gravity incredibly low. It achieves 70 to 80 miles per gallon, making it cheaper to run than taking the bus. You can pick up a brand new one for a real dealer price of $7,500 to $8,200, thousands under the original sticker price. The Honda is sensible to a fault, but our next bike suffers from the opposite problem. It has character coming out of its ears, but it lives in the shadow of its famous big brother, making it the forgotten sibling of the adventure world. Number 19. Royal Enfield Scram 411. This is a tragedy because for 90% of riders, the Scram is actually the better motorcycle. It is mechanically identical to the Himalayan, using the same bulletproof 411 cubic centimeter tractor-like engine. However, the smaller front wheel makes it significantly more agile in city traffic and twisty roads. It loses the bulky headlight frame of the Himalayan, making the steering lighter. It is a fantastic urban scrambler that dealers are currently glutted with. It is very approachable, with a seat height lower than most adventure bikes, fitting short riders perfectly. Owners love it. One rider from Vermont told us he went in to buy a Himalayan, but walked out with a Scram for $3,500 out the door. He said it handles gravel driveways, fine, and looks cooler at the coffee shop. While the original price was over $5,000, dealers are practically giving them away now. The only real risk is that it is painfully slow. Do not buy this for the interstate. But for city streets and back roads, it is almost disposable fun. One bike, however, is a victim of its own marketing department. It is a premium European machine that got lost in a confusing naming scheme, leading buyers to ignore it completely. Number 18. Triumph Tiger 850 Sport. Triumph launched the new Tiger 900 lineup with massive fanfare. They had the GT, the Rally, and the Pro models. And then, quietly, without much advertising, they released the 850 Sport. It is the base model. It has a slightly detuned engine and simpler electronics. Buyers walk into the showroom, see the flashy Tiger 900 Rally Pro with the white frame and crash bars, and completely ignore the 850. They assume lower number means smaller engine. Here is the steal. It uses the exact same engine as the 900, just with a different tune that actually gives it more low-end torque where you actually need it. It features high-end Marzocchi suspension and Brembo Stylema brakes, the same brakes found on $30,000 superbikes. It is a premium European adventure bike for the price of a Japanese budget bike, simply because the name confuses people. It puts out 84 horsepower and feels incredibly solid, with a typical high-quality Triumph finish. We spoke to a rider named Ian in New York who went in ready to drop $15,000 on the top-tier Rally Pro. The salesman was pushing him hard, but Ian took the 850 for a test ride just to compare. He came back grinning. He realized he didn't need off-road modes for riding in Manhattan. He bought the 850, saved $4,000, and used the extra cash to fund a road trip to Canada. We are literally unlocking the vault to thousands of dollars in savings. If you want to stop overpaying for motorcycles and learn the secrets dealers hide, smash that like button and subscribe right now. Don't be the guy paying retail. The Triumph is a hidden gem, but one other bike is a niche within a niche. It comes from a legendary Italian brand, but its dealer network is so sparse that buyers are terrified to pull the trigger. Number 17. Moto Guzzi V-85TT. Moto Guzzi is a brand for people who wear tweed jackets and smoke pipes, or at least that is the perception. The V-85TT is their attempt at a retro adventure bike. It is air-cooled, it has a shaft drive, and it looks absolutely stunning with its twin headlights and red frame. But it sits on floors because buyers ask, where do I get it fixed? The fear of the Italian dealer network kills sales before they happen. But if you are brave enough to buy one, you get one of the most charming motorcycles on earth. The 853 cubic centimeter transverse V twin engine rocks side to side when you blip the throttle. It is simple with no radiator to leak and no chain to lube. It is an analog adventure bike in a digital world. One owner in California told us he does all the maintenance himself because the bike is so simple, and he loves that people ask him about it at every stop. You don't get that with a Honda, he said. Dealers are letting leftover models go for $10,500 to $11,500. The ergonomics are comfortable and gentlemanly, with a flat seat perfect for a passenger. The risk is real. The dealer network is sparse, so if you break down in rural Nebraska, you are on your own. But for slow, scenic touring, it has no equal in character. Moto Guzzi is for the romantic, but our next bike is for the pragmatic dad. It is arguably the most comfortable motorcycle on this list, yet it is so unsexy that it becomes invisible to anyone under 40. Number 16. Kawasaki Versys 1000 SELT. This is a mistake because this bike is a feature monster. It comes standard with electronic skyhook suspension, heated grips, cornering lights, a quick shifter, and hard luggage. It uses the unkillable 1043 cubic centimeter inline-4 engine from the Ninja, retuned for torque. It produces 120 horsepower and pulls like a freight train. It is arguably the most comfortable two-up tourer you can buy. One owner from Ohio said his wife refused to ride on his sport bike, but falls asleep on the back of the Versys because it is so smooth. He admitted it isn't cool, but it saved his marriage. While the sticker price is nearly $19,000, leftovers are sitting at $14,500 to $15,500. It is like sitting in a LA Z-Boy recliner at 100 miles per hour. The risks are soft resale value and a top-heavy feel in parking lots, but for pure pavement touring, it is unmatched in value. The Versys handles long distance with ease, but our next bike struggles to leave the city limits. It is a technological marvel that is crashing in value, creating a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for the right buyer. Number 15. Zero SR/F. Electric motorcycles are a hard sell. They are expensive, and people are terrified of range anxiety and battery degradation. Zero is the market leader, but the SR/F sits in a tough spot. It costs as much as a Ducati Street Fighter V4, but can only go 100 miles on the highway. Dealers struggle to move them because the average rider says, for 20 grand, I want noise and 200 miles of range. But depreciation on electrics is brutal, which is bad for the first owner, but great for you. Dealers are desperate to clear these off the floor to make room for newer models. If you buy one now, you get 140 foot-pounds of torque, more than a Suzuki Hayabusa, available instantly. It is a magic carpet ride that costs pennies to operate. A commuter in California told us he bought a demo model for half price and charges at home. It rips my arms off and is silent, he said. I'll never go back to gas for commuting. You can find demo models and leftovers selling for $13,000 to $15,000, a massive discount from the $23,000 sticker. The ergonomics are surprisingly normal, feeling like a heavy 600 naked bike. The risks are sparse dealer support and limited range. But if your loop is under 80 miles, it destroys gas bikes, stoplight to stoplight. But have you heard about a bike that is a blast from the past? It is an American flat tracker that looks incredible, but scares away buyers with one fatal flaw. It is thirsty. Number 14. Indian FTR 1200. The Indian FTR is one of the coolest looking bikes on sale today. It is a street-legal flat tracker with 120 horsepower. So why doesn't it sell? Two reasons. First, the gas tank is tiny, only 3.4 gallons, and the range is terrible, roughly 100 miles. Second, early models had cold start fueling issues that ruined its reputation online. Indian has fixed the fueling on the newer models, but the reputation lingered. Dealers have stacks of these, but if you can live with the constant gas stops, it is a riot to ride. The 1203 cubic centimeter V-twin is torquey, handsome, and premium. It feels like an oversized dirt bike that encourages bad behavior and wheelies. A rider from Michigan told us the range anxiety is real, but the bike draws a crowd everywhere he parks, and the engine pulls so hard he doesn't care. You can snag a new non-current model for $9,500 to $11,000, way down from the $13,500 sticker price. The riding position is athletic and aggressive. The main risks are the thin dealer network and the constant need to plan your route around gas stations. But for Saturday night blasts, it is a bar hopper in the best possible way. Now folks, Suzuki has a problem. They build bulletproof, exciting motorcycles, but their marketing department seems to be on permanent vacation. This is what I mean. Number 13. Suzuki GSX-S1000GT. The GSX-S1000GT is arguably the best value sport tourer on the planet, but nobody buys it because everyone just defaults to the Kawasaki Ninja 1000SX. The Suzuki sits in the corner, ignored, looking aggressive and blue. This is a crime because it uses the legendary K5 GSX-R engine, widely considered the greatest street engine ever made. It puts out 150 horsepower, comes with hard luggage, a quick shifter, and a beautiful TFT dash. It does everything the Ninja does, but it feels raw and more exciting. I remember Mark, who was dead set on buying the Kawasaki. He had the brochure, the financing, everything ready. He walked into a multi-brand dealer, and the salesman threw him the keys to the Suzuki just for kicks. Mark took it to the highway on-ramp, dropped a gear, and pinned it. He said the induction roar sounded like an angry dragon waking up. It was crazy. He came back shaking. He drove the Suzuki home that afternoon, laughing inside his helmet the entire way. Well, you can find leftover models for $10,500 to $11,500. Dealers will often waive freight just to see it leave. The ergonomics are sport touring perfection, allowing you to cross 3 state lines in a day and still carve up a canyon. The tech interface is a bit dated, but mechanically, this bike will outlive the sun. Our next bike is an R1 superbike with handlebars. It sounds amazing thanks to its cross-plane crankshaft, but there's something else, something more. Number 12, Yamaha MT-10. This bike has headlights that look like a robot spider wearing night vision goggles. In fact, the Transformers styling is extremely polarizing. Many riders love the engine but walk away because they can't stand looking back at it in the garage. If you can get past the unfortunate face, you get one of the most exciting engines in history. The 998 cubic centimeter CP4 motor is pure violence, producing 160 horsepower and sounding like a V8. Dealers often have leftovers sitting around because people opted for the prettier MT-9. Someone in Florida told us that while it drinks gas like a drunk sailor, he forgives it everything the moment he hears that cross-plane howl. It's truly hard to ignore. Leftover models are sitting at $10,500 to $11,500. The ergonomics are aggressive but manageable, though the tank is wide. The risks are terrible fuel range and an appetite for rear tires. But for terrorizing your local streets, it is a hooligan machine without equal. I have a question for the honest riders out there. Would you ride an ugly or boring bike if it saved you $5,000? Or does image matter more? Tell me in the comments below. Let's see who is riding for the gram and who is riding for the deal. Number 11, Suzuki V-Strom 1050. This is a fantastic street adventure bike. It has one of the most reliable engines ever made. The big 1037 cubic centimeter V twin making 107 horsepower. It has cruise control, great wind protection, and it handles corners better than the off-road biased models. A rider in Nevada told us he wanted a GS but couldn't afford it, so he bought the V-Strom for half the price. He called it the Toyota Camry of bikes. Boring but perfect, with 40,000 trouble-free miles. Dealers are heavily discounting these to $11,000 to $12,000. It is tall but feels narrow between the knees. The risks are low resale value and simple tech. But if you want a mile muncher that will never break down, this is the smart money choice. We have found 10 more machines that dealers are practically giving away. We are talking about supercharged monsters, Italian exotics, and technological marvels that simply didn't find an audience. The discounts on these bikes are not just a few $100. We are talking thousands off the sticker price. If you have the guts to buy what others won't, you are about to secure the ride of a lifetime for pennies on the dollar. Let's count down the final 10. Number 10. Suzuki Katana. When Suzuki revived the legendary Katana name in 2020, the world held its breath. The styling was sharp, nostalgic, and aggressive. It used the legendary K5 GSX-R1000 engine, the same bulletproof power plant found in the GSX-S. It was fast, it handled well, and it looked incredible. But then the specs came out, and the riding community collectively groaned. Suzuki had given it a gas tank that held only 3.2 gallons. This single decision killed the bike on arrival. A 1,000cc naked bike that gets 35 miles per gallon absolutely needs fuel. With a tank that small, the fuel light comes on at 85 miles. Range anxiety isn't just for electrics, it is very real for Katana owners too. Because of this, real riders ignored it, opting for the standard GSX-S or the Yamaha MT-10. Dealers have brand new Katanas from 2 years ago still sitting in crates because nobody wants to stop for gas every hour. Next is Honda's attempt to build a naked bike that wasn't just a plastic-clad street fighter. Number 9. Honda CB1000R. Honda calls it Neo Sports Cafe. The CB1000R used real brushed aluminum, high-quality steel, and a stunning single-sided swing arm. It is, without a doubt, one of the best finished motorcycles on the market. The paint is deep, the welds are perfect, and the switchgear feels expensive. But the market didn't care. In the US, naked bike buyers want aggression. They want the alien looks of a Yamaha or the raw power of a KTM. The Honda looked too gentlemanly. It was too polite. And with a price tag over $14,000, it was competing with European exotics. As a result, it is the invisible leader bike. Dealers often have the Black Edition models sitting in the corner, looking beautiful but gathering dust. It comes with a quick shifter that is butter smooth. The handling is neutral and confidence-inspiring, typical of Honda. It is a bike you can ride to a business meeting and then take to the track. The ergonomics strike a perfect balance. You are leaned forward slightly for control, but your feet are underneath you, not cramped behind you. The Honda is polished perfection. The machine coming up is a prehistoric tank. It hasn't changed since 2012, and that is exactly why you need it for the end of the world. Number 8. Yamaha Super Tenere ES. If the BMW GS is the iPhone of adventure bikes, the Yamaha Super Tenere is the Nokia brick. It is big, it is heavy, and it is virtually indestructible. Yamaha has barely updated this bike since 2012. It still uses a parallel twin engine that sounds like a tractor. It is heavy, weighing nearly 600 pounds. When buyers walk into a showroom, they see the shiny new Teneres or the flashy Africa twins, and they see this old beast sitting in the back. It looks outdated. IT features an 1,199 cubic centimeter parallel twin engine, making 110 horsepower and 84 foot-pounds of torque. The ergonomics are like a couch. The seat is wide and flat. The wind protection is massive. You sit in a commanding, upright posture that lets you survey the traffic or the trail. It is built for 6-foot-plus riders. One of our subscribers, Dave in Arizona, treats his motorcycles like farm equipment. He rides deep into the desert, miles from cell service, where a breakdown could actually be dangerous. He told us about a trip to Baja where his buddy's $30,000 European adventure bike threw a sensor error and went into limp mode in the middle of the dunes. Dave, he just hit the starter on his Super Tenere and kept riding. He put 80,000 miles on that bike. He didn't baby it, he tortured it. and in all those miles, it never failed him once. When he finally decided to upgrade, he walked into the dealership, walked right past the flashy new tech, and bought a second Super Tenere. The salesman was shocked, but Dave told him he don't need a computer, that he needed a tank. He rode out for 12 grand on a brand new machine that will probably outlive us all. You can find new old stock models for a real dealer price of $12,500 to $13,500, way under the $16,000 sticker. The risk is that it is boring and heavy to pick up if you drop it, but it will never let you down. But have you heard of the rolling sculpture? It is something James Bond would ride, provided he could handle the massive depreciation hit that scares everyone else away. Number 7. Triumph Speed Triple 1200R. Triumph makes the Speed Triple RS, which is an amazing naked bike. Then they decided to make a gentleman's sport bike. They took the Speed Triple, added a gorgeous retro half fairing with a single round headlight, fitted it with clip-on handlebars, and slapped on electronic Öhlins suspension. They called it the RR. It is stunning. It looks like something James Bond would ride. But they priced it at $21,000. The naked bike buyers didn't want the uncomfortable clip-ons. The sport bike buyers didn't want the retro looks. So the RR sits in a class of one. Dealers have these absolute masterpieces sitting on the floor, and they are slashing prices to move them. It features an 1160 cubic centimeter triple engine, making 177 horsepower. It is a rocket ship. The ergonomics are the sticking point. It is aggressive with low clip-ons. It is not as comfortable as the naked RS, but it is not as torture rack as a Panigale. It is a committed riding position meant for speed. A rider in the UK told us he waited 6 months and the dealer called him offering it for 16 grand. For a bike with electronic Öhlins and carbon fiber? That is a steal, he said. You can find these for a real dealer price of $15,000 to $16,500. The risk is that it is uncomfortable for long rides and the riding position is confusing. It looks retro but feels like a race bike. But owning one makes you feel special in a way a GSX-R never will. Triumph relies on beauty. Kawasaki decided to just punch you in the face. The next bike breathes compressed air and eats rear tires for breakfast. Number 6. Kawasaki Z H2. Kawasaki put a supercharger on a motorcycle. Let that sink in. The Z H2 is a naked bike with a blower. It makes 200 horsepower. So why doesn't it sell? Because of the face. It has a massive asymmetrical air intake on one side that looks like a swollen lip. It features a 998 cubic centimeter supercharged inline-4, making 197 horsepower. The ergonomics are surprisingly comfortable. It is a big, physically imposing bike, but the bars are upright and the seat is plush. It feels like a muscle car, big, heavy, and comfortable until you mash the gas. A rider in Texas told us the looks grew on him, but the engine hooked him instantly. He paid $14,000 for a brand new supercharged bike. You can find these for a real dealer price of $13,500 to $14,500. The risks are real. It eats rear tires every 2,000 miles. Insurance can be astronomical because of the supercharged label. And yes, you have to explain why your bike looks like it was punched in the face. We are still unlocking the vault to the biggest depreciation hits in history. If you want to stop burning money on retail prices and start riding smart, click that like button and subscribe. Let's rob the dealership legally. Number 5. Ducati SuperSport 950S. This is the Ducati that nobody talks about. The SuperSport is designed to be the everyday sport bike. It looks like a Panigale, but it has higher handlebars, lower foot pegs, and an adjustable windscreen. It is designed for the real world. It uses the 937 cubic centimeter Testa L twin engine, which produces 110 horsepower and is punchy and reliable. But in the Ducati showroom, it is invisible. The young guys want the Panigale V2 or V4. The touring guys want the Multistrada. The naked guys want the monster. The SuperSport sits in the middle, appealing to a sensible demographic that is shrinking. Dealers often have these marked down significantly just to find them a home. The ergonomics are the selling point. It looks fast, but you can ride it for 6 hours without needing a chiropractor. It is the perfect blend of sport and comfort. You can find these for a real dealer price of $13,000 to $14,500. The risks are that it vibrates more than a four-cylinder, and the Desmo service at 18,000 miles is expensive. But for a Ducati, it is surprisingly practical. Ducati made a monster, but one company topped it. They struck gold and dug even deeper, and even then, they didn't stop there. Number 4, Aprilia Tuono 660 standard model. Aprilia struck gold with the RSE 660 sport bike. Then they made the naked version, the Tuono 660. It is fantastic. It is light, fast, and handles like a dream. But then they released the factory version with better suspension and electronics. Now nobody wants the standard model. They either buy the RS for the looks or the Tuono factory for the specs. The standard Tuono 660 sits in limbo. It lacks the IMU, cornering ABS, and the fancy shock of the factory, so buyers ignore it. Dealers are dumping them. It features a 659 cubic centimeter parallel twin, making 95 horsepower and weighing just 403 pounds. The ergonomics are essentially a naked sport bike. Upright bars, comfy seat, very compact dimensions. It feels like a toy but goes like a rocket. It is a giant killer in the canyons, carving up tight, technical roads where huge horsepower is useless. Someone told us she didn't care about the electronic suspension on the factory model. She bought the standard for $8,000 brand new and called it the most fun bike she has ever owned. She's going to give it to her daughter as a birthday present. You can find these for a real dealer price of $7,900 to $8,500. The risks are that Aprilia reliability can be spotty and the dealer network is thin, but for the price, you are getting Italian exotic performance for Japanese money. We have waded through the mediocrity. We have seen the good, the bad, and the ugly. But now we enter royalty. These final 3 machines are not just vehicles. They are icons that lost their way. They offer performance that defies physics and prices that defy logic. If you have a pulse, you want one. If you have a wallet, you can afford one. Stop blinking. Put your phone down. We are entering the God tier. Number 3, Husqvarna Norden 901. The Husqvarna Norden is essentially a KTM 890 adventure in a tuxedo. It has round headlights, smoother bodywork, and a more comfortable seat. It is mechanically identical to the KTM. But here is the problem. Hardcore adventure guys buy the KTM because it looks tough. Style-conscious guys buy the Norden, but there aren't many style-conscious adventure riders. So the Norden sits. It is often priced higher than the KTM, which makes it a hard sell. But now dealers are slashing prices to move them, often making them cheaper than the KTM. It features an 889 cubic centimeter parallel twin engine, making 105 horsepower. The ergonomics are plush. The seat is wider and softer than the KTM plank. The fairing offers better wind protection. It is designed for long-distance travel, not just dirt bashing. It is capable of serious off-road, but it feels more refined on the highway. A rider in Sweden told us he loved the KTM engine but hated the insect look. He picked up a leftover 23 model Norden for $11,000. You can find these for a real dealer price of $10,500 to $11,500. The risks are the same as KTM, electronics glitches and potential camware issues, but parts are interchangeable, which is a huge plus. The Husky hides KTM bones. The machine coming up features technology never seen before on a production bike, with body panels that actually move, yet nobody is buying it. Number 2, Moto Guzzi V100 Mandello Standard. We mentioned Guzzi earlier, but this is their new, water-cooled, high-tech flagship. The V100 Mandello features adaptive aerodynamics, flaps on the tank that open to deflect wind. It is a stunning machine. But just like the Aprilia, everyone wants the S model with the Öhlins suspension and quick shifter. The standard model, which has manual suspension, sits unwanted. Buyers think, if I'm buying a fancy Guzzi, I want the fancy one. This leaves the standard model as a massive bargain. It features a 1,042 cubic centimeter liquid-cooled V-twin, making 115 horsepower. The ergonomics are sport touring in the truest sense. Comfy seat, moderate lean, electric windscreen. The active aero actually works to create a bubble of calm air on the highway. It is built for crossing continents with Italian flair, handling curves with stability and grace. A rider in New York told us he didn't need the active suspension and got the standard bike for 13 grand. He says the engine character is unlike anything else. It pulls to the side when you rev it, but it's smooth as silk. You can find these for a real dealer price of $12,000 to $13,000. The risk is that it is a first-year new engine design, so long-term reliability is unknown, but it is a piece of history. Guzzi is evolution. The final machine is a revolution that failed. It is the saddest financial story in motorcycling, crashing from 30 grand to pennies on the dollar. Number 1, Harley-Davidson LiveWire. When Harley launched the LiveWire, it cost $30,000. It was an incredible engineering achievement, fast, premium, and fun. But at 30 grand, it was dead on arrival. Harley spun it off into its own brand, LiveWire, and dropped the price to $22,000. But the damage was done. Harley dealers hated selling them. They didn't want to install the chargers. They didn't want to train mechanics. So now there are hundreds of these sitting in dealerships, effectively abandoned. Here is the kicker. It is arguably the best-built electric motorcycle in the world. It does 0 to 60 in 3 seconds flat. It has Showa suspension and Brembo brakes. And because nobody wants them, the prices have collapsed to a level that makes them the steal of the century. It features a 100 horsepower electric motor with 84 foot-pounds of instant torque. The ergonomics are that of a naked sport bike, standard riding position, slightly aggressive. It feels dense and high quality. Ideally suited for city riding and short blasting, the range is about 100 miles in the city. A rider in California told us he watched the price drop for 2 years before buying a brand new old stock unit for $13,500. He calls it the Tesla of bikes for the price of a used Sportster. You can find used and new old stock units selling for $8,500 to $10,000. The risk is range anxiety and a battery that is expensive to replace out of warranty. But for the price, you are riding the future for pennies. Click the next video to continue the road trip. Join our tribe by subscribing. And if you want to support our channel and have early access on the newest videos, become a member. And don't forget to like this video.